Dance like you have it, because there's girls that really jacked up a routine before and they definitely got called back, but they looked like they have. Just sell it with your face. All of you guys are beautiful.
Welcome to Catch This Live, an interactive live series where we discuss any and everything, all while learning something new. You don't want to miss this conversation. Now grab your snacks. It's time to Catch This Live.
What's up, everybody? It's Catch This Live, where we discuss any and everything under the sun, and we learn something new in the process. Right here, I have my guest, Miss TuTu, from InMyBag-ish. I am so excited to have her as my guest. I want you to introduce yourself to the people, Miss TuTu.
Hey everybody, my name is TuTu. What it do? And I'm just excited to be on the show. I am the creator and founder of InMyBag-ish. So I'm just happy to be here and just continue to connect. So you guys can hear more about my story, and hopefully there's something that you guys can take away from what you're here today.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming to the show and welcome. Speaking of InMyBag-ish, what inspired you to create InMyBag-ish?
Oh my goodness. InMyBag-ish was something that was reincarnated pretty much. So it actually started off as a brand called Lala Fit. A couple years ago, I'll say back in about 2015, 2016, I started this brand, on social media called Lala Fit, and my focus was just making fitness and exercising enjoyable for all. So that incorporated like doing boot camps outdoors, and I was also filming like dance workouts for people to do. But of course, life got the best of me at the time. I was busy with work, and I just felt like I went from 0 to 100 with that. So I decided to scale back and just really, think through it even more to make it better. So over the years, I was thinking like, oh man, I need to change this to something else, but I don't know what I want it to be yet. But I knew God was going to put it on my mind. It'll come to me naturally. So one day while I was living in South Florida, I was just at the gym and I'm just getting it in like, ooh, yeah, get it. Ooh. And then while I was on the machine, I was like, I'm in my bag. Ooh, and I was like, oh my gosh, in my bag, that's it. So it just stuck, and I'm like, InMyBag-ish. The reason why I added the ish is because in my bag was taken on social media, but that's okay, whatever.
We don't know them.
It's okay though. So I was like, InMyBag-ish. And then I decided to stray away from, the fitness side of it, because I just feel like there's a lot of help out there, with the professional trainers, influencers online, where I feel like that market, it's a lot of help that people already have access to. It's not difficult to find, but I just felt like there was a bigger need when it came to people wanting to gain more knowledge on turning towards a plant-based diet, whether it was pescatarian, vegetarian, vegan, thisitarian, thatitarian, hootitarian, what, So, and then over the years, since I stopped eating meat, a lot of people will come to me asking me questions like, hey, how can I transition, or what are some meals I can eat? I want to try this, that, and the third. So I just felt like I just felt that it's more needed in our community for sure, because a lot of our people are knowledgeable in that area. So that's pretty much how InMyBag-ish came about.
Nice. So since you talk about pretty much being in the kitchen, I notice most people's fitness journeys, they don't realize that it actually starts in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So since you mentioned plant-based and pescatarianism, what is it? Pescatarianism, vegetarianism, and veganism. How long have you been primarily plant-based?
This is actually next month, March, will make 5 years. I started this journey in March 2016. Yes. And it actually came about because my sister, she approached me and my mom in a group chat like, hey, y'all, let's do this challenge where we can't eat any carbs, water, sweets, no meats, fish. All that was cut out. Everything was just straight veggie.
No
Dairy
sweet.
too. No dairy. No sweet. No sweet, sis. No sweet.
Girl, that's my problem. That's
So
my
I was
problem.
like, this is insane. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna be tough. And it was something I've never done in my entire life. So I was like, okay, let's do it. We all agreed to it. Um, and I pushed myself through. I mean, sadly, my mom and my sister, they fell off after
Don't be
about two
calling them
weeks.
out.
Yeah. They fell off after about 2 weeks, but I stuck with it and I finished. I completed the month, and then after the challenge was over, I was just like, it's not so bad. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna stick with this until I feel like eating meat again. Honestly, I thought after like 2 months, 3 months after I made that decision, I was gonna go back to eating meat, but here we are 5 years later, and I have not had a desire to go back.
Wow, that's amazing. That is so amazing. And speaking of, most people coming to you for advice or, how they can incorporate more plant-based meals into their diet, do you cook for your friends or significant others? What are their typical reactions to what you make? And do they want to transition once you make it, or they're just like, no, I only do it when you cook it?
Oh man. To be honest, especially when I cook for people that have never had anything plant-based, I've always gotten positive reviews on my food. Like, people are actually blown away by it. Um, some of the feedback I'll receive is, "Oh my gosh, this gotta be meat. This is not meat. This is from a plant." And it's like, you're lying to me. You're lying to me. Like, they won't believe me when I tell them that. Some others, when they try my foods and they see how you can make so many different kinds of meals to kind of resemble the foods I was eating before going plant-based. They are curious to make that transition, but it's still that piece of nervousness, like, but I don't know if I can really do it. I don't know, I can try. I can honestly say, one of my friends, actually one of my college best friends, she recently cut meat out her diet. Like, with her, she never had a plan on doing that. It just happened, and she's like so happy. And I've been helping her out with some things to do, and she's like, I like it. Like, this is cool to me. So it's
Right.
doable. It comes down to the individual. Like, are you really ready to take that step? And I can say for her, as an example, she wanted to go plant based around the time I first started, because me and her were roommates at the time. And when she tried it, she did it for like a couple of days, and she was like, "Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it." And then now, 5 years later, it's probably going to be approaching a year soon. It's probably been about half a year or so since she officially stopped eating meat. She's vegetarian now. Eventually, she says she wants to work towards getting vegan, but that's just an example of when people do come to me like, "Oh, I want to make that transition." I'm never the kind of person to kind of be like, "Yeah, do it right now." You got to go
Right.
at your own pace, and when you feel ready mentally, it's going to happen. So
Yeah, that's kind of a great way, because I noticed that in that community, typically the vegan community, I wouldn't say the more plant-based, because I know vegan is more of a lifestyle, but
yeah,
I noticed the plant-based community, you guys are a little bit more accepting and just like, yeah, just try it out, go at your own
yeah,
pace. And you
yeah,
don't really beat anyone up about it. You just kind of lend a helping hand.
exactly.
So I noticed that about your channel. How has it assisted with you, beauty wise, health wise? Just what were the benefits when turning plant based? Because the glow that you have,
Woo!
oh,
So weedy.
child.
So weedy. No, seriously though, Victoria. Oh my gosh. My weight has always been something that fluctuated my whole life. It's like moments where I'm like, oh, it'll drop, moments where I gain. I was having a lot of issues with my skin, and it was just a lot going on. Okay. um, but one of the main differences that happened right away, of course, was how much weight I lost. In that short time frame of when I first did that challenge, I dropped a lot of pounds, and it was crazy. And that was one benefit of it. Definitely, my skin has improved a lot. It's even gotten better over the past year or two. Because as I've done more research on certain things that I can utilize to help with natural skincare, like I'm working towards being more holistic in my skincare products too, to where like I make my own face wash now, or when I do like face washes like or scrubs, I use like fresh squeezed lemon juice, like brown sugar, like little things like that, and that's helped my skin really glow. Um, what else? It's like a lot of different things that I do, but skin for sure. Weight loss has been big, and just my overall well being, like just how I feel day to day. I don't feel sluggish after a meal anymore. I still feel very energetic. Um, People always ask me how you can still bop and bend down and squat without an issue. I'm like, listen,
You don't know.
you know what I'm saying? So that's definitely been one of the main benefits. And then also, I've always worked towards making sure that my diet was as clean as possible. So one of the mistakes a lot of people, and it's innocent mistakes too, because again, when I first transitioned, I wasn't aware of this until I took the time to do further research. But one of the things people do when they transition, like, all right, I'm going vegan or I'm doing this, and the first thing they do is head right to their frozen food aisle and grab this brand, this brand, that, this vegan, that. But when you're looking at the back of these packages and boxes and stuff, you're reading those ingredients and the nutrition facts, the sodium in that stuff is like 800 milligrams. It's like crazy stuff. Or even just the ingredients they put in those foods. Mm-hmm. So a big part of it too is just ensuring that the foods you are putting in your body are as close to the ground as possible. As my mom says, eat as close to the ground as possible. The fresher it is, the better it is going to be for you. Right. So that's a big part of it. And of course, you still have to get in your exercising each week too. So it's not, that's another myth that a lot of people think, oh, once I go plant-based, then I'm just going to be snatched. Oh, little waist big. Ow. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. No. Oh, you about to make me.
No, girl.
Yeah, but some people think like as soon as I start eating that way, then everything is just going to happen on its own. So you still got to continue exercising, taking care of your body, getting all your vitamins, your vitamin D, your A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, A, Q, I, S, T, T. Yeah, so you still have to take care of yourself outside of that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, I mean, I guess that leads into my next question. I noticed that you said stay closer to the ground. What are some tips that you can give to the viewers in regards to going plant-based the correct way? Like, how can they transition to it the correct way? And what research, do you have any like pointers or any like references that they can look into?
Yeah. The biggest thing that helped me with those transitions, with my transition, and sticking to that eat as close to the ground as possible, is one, think of your favorite meals that you normally eat that includes meat, and literally Google vegan alternative for this. And there's so many different websites and articles that pull up, oh, this is good for X, Y, and Z. This is good for this. This is a good alternative for this. So honestly, Victoria, within the past year, I just learned about oyster mushrooms, king oyster mushrooms, and implementing like jackfruit into my diet. Like before the past year or two, I had no knowledge of all this stuff. So I literally just started, especially with king oyster mushrooms, because the texture has more of a meaty chew, like how chicken is. So that's helped me a lot with making like, oh, I got some chicken thigh. Ooh,
right.
Ooh. So definitely saying what's a vegan alternative to some of your favorite food dishes. That's one thing. Another thing, why it takes me forever in a day to shop now, because when I'm going grocery shopping, and like once I'm done in the the produce area, and I'm going up and down the aisles, I'm like, okay, I need this product. Literally, when I'm picking up stuff, I read the back and I go through those ingredients. And if there's something on there that I'm not sure what it is, I Google it right on the spot and read up on it. now it's gotten to the point, one of the common sayings that a lot of vegan chefs and people online say is that if you don't understand it or know how to pronounce it, don't eat it. So it's like so it's like a lot of stuff on there, like MSG, which is monosodium glutamate. That's using a lot of like Chinese dishes and stuff. It's like a food enhancer and it makes you feel full. And a lot of people have like bad reactions to it with like headaches and palpitations and stuff like that. So even in those pre-blended your face is getting...
I'm shook, girl. I'm so shook.
Yeah, it's like it's literally a lot of stuff that they're putting in our foods now that's not good for us. But many of us, when we go to the grocery store, we'll be like, oh, this sounds good, and we're grabbing it without really just taking the time to flip that box over or that package over and really reading what they're putting inside of it. How much sodium is in this item, how much sugar, how many carbs and stuff like that. So that's a big important thing too. So definitely Googling, what are the best alternatives to this kind of meat that I truly enjoy. And also when you're shopping, just take the time to flip it over and just read through what's being put in your food. That's where it's going to start.
Wow. I can only speak from just a small experience. I believe when I was living in LA, I had more so a plant-based diet. It was better for me. Cost-wise, everyone was just like, oh yeah, going plant-based is so expensive. Yep. Vegan is so expensive. And I'm just like, the way these fresh fruits and veggies are set up.
Hello.
And then if you just freeze them and like put them to the side, I've noticed that helped me out tremendously. And yes, you are on point with the king oyster mushrooms. I used to make vegan scallops with them. Have you ever did the vegan scallops?
Yeah.
Amazing. Now I'm not plant-based now, but I am probably going to go back to it. It's the ingredients for me, sis. It's the candy.
You said it's the what?
It's the ingredients and the candy for me. It's the ingredients. I know I'm shook because I already know once I look at the back of this candy package, I'm going to faint. I'm not throwing it away though. Telling you right now.
Make your own candy. Make your own.
Like, but it don't taste.
There's some things that I want to experience with. And I'm gonna roll it out on my channel when the time comes. But like veganizing a lot of those Little Debbie like snacks, like the oatmeal pies, like the Star Crunches. So it's like I'm doing research, like how can I So that's definitely like some stuff I want to start just doing on my own. Like that's my ultimate goal. Eventually, everything that I'm eating in my home is that I'm making it myself.
Yeah, let me know when you experiment so I can come.
Okay.
Thank you. And speaking of that, because I see that you're working on some future projects, what are the future plans? What are your future plans for InMyBag-ish?
Oh my gosh. I have big goals for InMyBag-ish. One of them being is opening up a storefront, grocery store that is completely vegan. Everything in there is strictly vegan, plant-based items. Because one thing I've learned, especially in January when I challenged myself to eating raw for the month, it is such a struggle finding certain products. You have to go, oh, I could get this from Publix, but they ain't got these, so I gotta go to Target.
Yeah.
What you talking about? You don't got this, so let me go to Walmart. It should not take going to 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 stores to get items. So it's definitely a need to have a store that is strictly plant-based. So it's like a one-stop shop. You don't have to go to this store, that store. Like even to get like king oyster mushrooms and stuff, the only places you're gonna find that is if you go to your local Asian market.
Yeah.
And I've seen like Whole Foods is starting to sell stuff, but of course it's priced really high. So your local Asian food market is kind of like the best places to go. So that's my ultimate like long-term goal, is to create my own plant-based grocery store, and put it in an area that's accessible to the Black community. Because when you ride into our neighborhoods now, what you see, Ray Ray's chicken,
liquor store.
Yeah, liquor stores and stuff like that. And then of course you may have like a Walmart, but they don't have access to the Whole Foods of the world, to the Sprouts of the world, or the farmers market. So I want to make it more accessible for, my people to be able to have access to fresh foods and ingredients for at an affordable price. So yeah, that's definitely my biggest plan for In My Bag-ish. But of course, I do want to continue to grow my brand online with my social media platforms, on my YouTube channel, and that become eventually, God willing, another stream of, income.
It will happen.
Yeah. And then also thinking of creating some products like sauces, because I'm the sauce queen.
You know that question was coming next.
One thing I do, I love to create like different sauces. And I'm like, this will go good with this. So like creating different products to sell in the store too. And just to add to that, I just made me remember, within my plant-based store, I really want to give opportunity to a lot of Black-owned vegan brands to sell their products in my store too. So I would really love to see at least 30% of my products in my store be Black-owned. So nice. That's the goal, just full circle.
And I like how you're trying to pour into the community and create opportunities for, your sisters and brothers. And you want to start your own garden or, write your own vegan cookbooks by any chance?
Yes. That's definitely a plan, especially with the cookbooks. It's going to take some time really building that out. Because I've already been getting questions. When are you going to do a cookbook? When are you going to do a cookbook? I'm like, listen, if y'all only know, because I'm the kind of person, I listen to my ancestors.
Right.
So when it comes to me, I don't measure stuff. I just go with it and be like, oh, boom, there it is. So it's like with a cookbook, I have to think of someone that does not know a single thing to do in the kitchen and really go through every single detail to get them through making that dish and making sure they do it successfully. So not only just the steps, but getting the exact measurements I'm using in my dishes. So that's the part that makes it a little tough. It's like, okay, how much okay. So I always have to measure out little by little. Even when I film my videos, normally I would just cook, but I'm like, Tisha, slow down. Let me do a little measurement so I can kind of give my followers and, people watching an idea of the amount of each item that I'm using. A cookbook for sure. I started a patio garden since I moved, to my own apartment, and it's actually been amazing and it's growing. So eventually, especially when I get into my home and have a backyard, I do want to grow a huge garden because right now I'm limited, obviously, because that's something that's big in my family. My mom is from Jamaica, like the country of Jamaica. So whenever I go back home, literally they have any and everything you need, from papaya trees, cabbage, different lettuces, tomatoes, all these herbs, grapevines, and we even have.
You know all about that.
Yeah, so I'm used to it. Mangoes, anything you need, literally they're growing it in my backyard. So whenever I go back home, they send me back with stuff.
Nice.
So that's definitely the goal, to start have my own garden. Sure.
Well, since we're on the last minute, I just want to know, where can everyone follow you?
Yes, I can be found on YouTube at InMyBag-ish. On Instagram, I'm at InMyBag_ish. On TikTok, InMyBag_ish. And on Facebook, InMyBag-ish.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you. I can't wait to come by your house and test out all the snacks.
I got
you. I'm here for it, and I know it's going to be healthy for me because it's going to be a struggle. So Thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for catching this live. Make sure you follow my girl TuTu on all of the social media platforms. Have a good night.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Now, what I need you guys to do is you're going to participate in this Flick This Wrist Challenge.
Now flick that wrist.
And I read.
Like this. Oh, hold on, flick that. Hey, now flick that. Hey, now flick that. Hey.
And when you post it, I want you to make sure you tag Catch This Live, #Flick That Wrist Challenge. Let me see what dance moves y'all got cooking up in the kitchen.
Long shot, but I got the reach. Pop lock, now I'm off the leash. Mic drop, I ain't gotta preach. I just do what comes natural. 5-star, everything I see. Live large, no apology. Take charge, no one can compete. I just do what comes natural.